Welcome, everyone. My name is Derek Santos. I'm the director of the NBEDC. And on behalf of the entire staff, team, and board, we are glad that you are here. Our friends at the museum have been such wonderful hosts again this year. And Judy and Greg are doing a great job on getting the networking reception ready for us just outside those doors. So if we can get through some official business, a little classical music, we can start that. I want to start this afternoon, though, a little bit different than years past, right off the bat, and say I'm a really lucky guy who gets to go to work every day with amazing colleagues on the team at the NBEDC. So they have tons of talent, we know that. Creativity, we know that. Great skills, we all know that. But these guys have an unbelievable work ethic. Full-time staff, senior fellows, volunteer members of the New Bedford Creative Consortium, the Regeneration Project Committee, many of those guys are here tonight, members of our Lending Committee and Finance Committee. All of these guys work super hard. They love New Bedford as much as everybody in this room. And I'm going to ask that we give them a round of applause, but a special round of applause to Deborah Trombley, our longtime controller who retired this year. So please. Thank you, thank you. Now make no mistake, Tony and the board, they set the tone. Now we all know Tony's leadership is award-winning. I think I've testified to that in videos 5 or 6 times just this year alone. But I've come to rely on Tony's leadership, not just over the past year, but for my entire career and his friendship. And I want to thank Tony and the entire board of directors for their contributions, their enthusiasm, and their unwavering support. I also want to say that we're grateful for those who fund the EDC, either through grants or corporate sponsorships, because without that, we can't do what we do. And if you haven't done so when you came in, pick up a copy of the annual report. Those pages tell a story in some great detail about the work from this past year that we have accomplished together. But by the time we actually get to the annual meeting at the end of October, I'm more excited about the year ahead. So when I'm thinking about 2026, I'm thinking about exciting changes at the Quest Center, big steps forward for the Advanced Manufacturing Campus, amazing arts and culture grants, go see Margot, local manufacturing expansions, and of course, the Star Store. Those are just a few highlights, right? Those are just the high-level stuff. But we can't do that or any of our fundamental activities without good, trusting partners. And that starts at City Hall with Mayor Mitchell and his team, the New Bedford City Council, and all the departments that we work with day in and day out. When we go beyond City Hall, we have an even wider array of partners. A few examples, just some folks here tonight. The New Bedford Ocean Cluster, Mass Inc., the Mass Office of Business Development, the Bar Foundation, the SBA, and now, of course, the Arts and Business Council of Greater Boston. But a special thank you has to go to Bristol County Savings Bank for not only being a great partner, but our leading corporate sponsor. Our good friend Patrick Murray has moved on to the greener fairways or fields of retirement, and we certainly miss his warm smile and his personal engagement in helping to shape the EDC vision and strategy on some of our most complex issues over the years. But today we're joined by John Silva, Bristol's new president and CEO. And I think everyone in this room is going to agree that John is a handsome, charming, powerful, powerful man. Sucking up is totally fine. John's jumped in with both feet already. He's articulated his commitment to continue with what Pat, Jeff, and the entire team have started at the EDC. We're grateful for that. And beyond their work with us, the bank continues to partner with city organizations across the board. North Star Learning Center, Junior Achievement, and the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center, right? So, yeah, who can't wait for the Z to open? So at the EDC, whether we're driving new and thoughtful development working with small businesses and entrepreneurs of all kinds, or continuing to build on our citywide successes in nationally recognized work in arts and culture, Jon, Jeff, and the entire Bristol team are here for us all. So with that, please join me in welcoming to the podium President and CEO of Bristol County Savings Bank, Jon Silva.
All right, thanks, Derek. I really appreciate that. So if you ever need a job, I could use a new PR guy. Thank you. On behalf of all of us at Bristol County Savings Bank, I want to thank the EDC for this opportunity to join you here tonight and for the tremendous work that you do each and every day to drive growth, investment, and opportunity across this remarkable city. We're especially proud to partner with EDC not only through the projects we support, but through the people we dedicate to the important work. As he mentioned, our own Jeff Pagliuca, Senior Vice President, Commercial Lending Market Manager. He's a key role as a board member, and also he's chair of the EDC's loan committee. And myself, I'm personally honored and excited to be joining the Regeneration Committee. I'm stepping in big shoes of Pat Murray, but I think I can help continuing to deepen the bank's commitment to New Bedford's long-term vitality. Here, there's an unmistakable sense of momentum in New Bedford right now, and it's inspiring to see. You can feel it across every corner of the city, the waterfront, and the neighborhoods, and especially right here in the heart of downtown. Downtown is alive with new energy. Historic buildings are being restored. New restaurants and shops are opening, and there's a renewed vibrancy that's drawing people here to live, work, and enjoy all that this community has to offer. One of the most exciting examples, as Derek pointed out, is the renovation of the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center, which will be opening in the coming months. I'm sure of that. The beautifully restored Performing Arts Center will not only strengthen New Bedford's cultural landscape, but also attract more visitors and support local establishments and add to the city's growing reputation as a destination for arts and culture. At Bristol County Savings Bank, we are proud to be deeply invested in that progress through our Travel Foundation and community partnerships. We're supporting projects that will shape New Bedford's future for generations to come, from the Zeiterion Theater renovation to the new investment here at the amazing Whaling Museum right across the street there, as well as the South Coast YMCA. I know Lucrea was here, and the Greater New Bedford Community Health Center. We're also proud to partner with the New Bedford Public Schools on initiatives that strengthen educational opportunities and prepare students for lifelong success. These partnerships are more than financial commitments. They're investments in people, an opportunity, and in the bright future we all believe in for New Bedford. And at the center of that progress is a leader who understands that the future is bright, and it's someone who has guided New Bedford forward with vision, energy, and a deep belief in the city's potential. Now, I know my predecessor, Pat Murray, often enjoyed giving the mayor a good ribbing at this event. But Mayor, I'm relatively still new, and you get a pass this year. Yeah. Next year, though, it'll be fair game. So this is my great honor. I get to introduce someone whose leadership continues to shape New Bedford's story and its future, Mayor Jon Mitchell. I don't know you that well.
That's all right, thank you. All right, thank you, Jon. Thanks, everybody. Great to see so many folks here. You know, it's I was remarking on the way in that yeah, things are busy, and you know the to-do list seems to regenerate itself all the time. But then as I looked down the to-do list, like half the people in this room are associated with items on the to-do list. So for about half of you, I owe you a phone call back shortly. So as I came in here tonight, I had a couple of thoughts I wanted to share. I I struggled with an opener. I was wondering if like anybody knew any good jokes about regional economic development they could offer me. I couldn't come up with any on my own, but yeah, we have this event every year, and it's really an occasion to take stock in the growth and the development and the new things in the city, but more particularly to sort of offer thanks to a lot of folks. And there's a lot of you here that I could say a lot about. I really like go row by row by row by row, and I'm grateful for all those contributions, because I think it's distinguished New Bedford over many years is its level of teamwork. We have. I think a lot of you know I've been active in the U.S. Conference of Mayors and some other national mayors groups over the years, and so I like to think a pretty good window into the workings of a lot of other cities. I spend time talking to other mayors, and they share with me what's going well, what's not going well, and so forth. And a number of things, observations have emerged from those interactions over the years, but one of them is just that folks in New Bedford are on the same page. I mean, we row, or pick your metaphor, we row in the same direction, we work together. And I think it all starts with just sort of the love of the city that we have. A lot of other cities are thriving right now, and they're doing it without a whole lot of effort, because they are rising with a national economic tide. But because we've love our city and are willing to hustle for it, we're making a difference together. And I think in some level it's all the more gratifying that we do it that way. So, but that's a credit to so many of you in this room. In particular, I do want to thank the folks at the EDC, starting with the chairman himself, Tony Sapienza. You'll be hearing from Tony in a second. Yeah, so there's been a little bit of like a love fest for you this year, Tony, as Derek alluded to. It's just one thing after, like Shohei Ohtani of economic development around here. You're getting all kinds of all kinds of accolades, but. The reason for it is that Tony's, it is, and I'll say this in all seriousness, after a successful run in manufacturing and in policy circles and workforce development things, I mean, in some ways, Tony's found, I say this very loosely, but it's important. It's found a sort of a second calling as a convener of folks on important matters. And a lot of what we've been able to do together has been because Tony's been able to pull people in, and that's been hugely valuable to the city and to Greater New Bedford more generally. And I want to say to the rest of the board, thank you for all of your contributions. They are many, and all people that I greatly respect and who are really making it happen here. And then as far as the team goes, Derek and Ramon, Marinella, everybody, Deb, she's still kind of around, even though she's nominally retired, not so much. I just want to thank all of you guys for just being so skillful at what you do, so dedicated. The commitment level is palpable, but when people come to New Bedford and interact with our folks at the EDC, they recognize that they're playing at a higher level. It's not like we're not building skyscrapers here. We're not building dome stadiums. It's not the big shiny things, although as much as there has been evident progress. But it's not that. It's that here, we take the hand that we're dealt and we play it really well, and that's because we've got a really skillful team. And so I want to thank all of you guys and ask everybody here to join me in a round of applause for their great efforts. I want to just say one other thing. I'm looking down here at the run of show. It looks like you guys didn't even anticipate my being here. It says Jon Mitchell, 8-minute video. No, I'm here in the flesh. So this is really me. It's not a facsimile. I did want to say a little bit about the work that we're doing together, city and economic development team and a lot of others. There's been a lot of developments over the last year that have been useful and interesting and encouraging. There have been some setbacks, and the work continues, and it requires us to emphasize other things. We're seeing it in the maritime space. I just want to give a shout out to Jen Downing, from the Executive Director of the Ocean Cluster, who works very closely with the EDC and the work that's being done there. A whole lot's happening, a whole lot's stopped, and a whole lot is moving forward now, and a lot to talk about in that space. But one of the things that we've prided ourselves on in our effort to work as a team is that we plan well. We really are committed to thinking deeply about our goals, understanding our assets, understanding our vulnerabilities, and developing a strategy, and then executing on it together. And so from time to time, we go out and we do really comprehensive planning work so that we all can understand where we're going. And frankly, it's the planning that facilitates the teamwork, right? If everybody understands the direction we all want to go, and if there's buy-in to the plan, then it's a matter of getting at it, right? It becomes a lot, in some ways, simpler. So in that spirit, in a time of, frankly, a transition in the local economy of Greater New Bedford, but sort of nationally and globally, we are about to emerge with new plans. I know a lot of you have participated in those planning exercises and contributed to them. And so I think we worked up, Derek, one slide. Is it up there? There it is. Perfect. So we are about to announce the city's comprehensive plan, the first one in some 15 years. I think they're supposed to last 10, so we got the most out of the last one. But that'll be next week. I know a number of folks here participated on it. But comprehensive plans, otherwise known as master plans, city master plans, something that cities are required to do. We would do it by state law. We would do that anyway because we believe in and are really committed to planning. But it's meant to sort of cover the terrain, to be something that speaks to all the facets of city life. So ranging from the operation of city government to economic development to housing to the built environment to sustainability, all those things. And so, that is sort of the foundational document for what we think is the future of the city in the next decade or so. So that'll be announced soon, and a lot of work headed up by our planning office. I think Ann Lauro is here because I walked in the door with her. She's right there, but she and Jen Carloni were instrumental in moving that along. And so it's a document that we're very proud of, and proud of the work that others contributed, so many contributed to it. So from that is derived a number of other plans. So baked into that plan is the city's economic development plan. Again, something many folks in the business community contributed to over the last many months. And so as we are here to talk about economic development, I'll just touch on it very briefly, but it is comprised of several components that we're all familiar with, right? So the focus, as the title suggests, is that it is a strategy that is built on the city's competitive advantages, right? So, we're not trying to imitate other places that are different from us. We're not trying to chase fads or do something that's entirely novel. What we're trying to do is to build on those things that we do very well. And that's what we've been doing over the last several years. And so I think it's really important that we don't get distracted by the prospect of doing something that sounds really sexy, right? AI sounds sexy today, right? There's life sciences, all these things that, for which we don't necessarily have unique competencies here. It's not to say that we aren't going to be working in those spaces when the opportunities arise. It's just to say that our focus is on those things that we do really well. So in the maritime space, for starters, in the cultural space, in manufacturing, and healthcare. And then if there are other competencies we think we need to build on, we'll do that too. So, and then what's derived from that is a number of other plans. So we're about, and this is something that Derek worked on really well with a number of folks in the room, sub-plans for all that. Manufacturing, we will follow all these plans with a manufacturing white paper because we think, especially with a number of developments, the golf course development, of course, but also things like some of the workforce work that we're doing, some of the work that we're doing with a consultant to do recruitment and manufacturing, the reinstitution of the Bedford Redevelopment Authority. All these things will allow us to drive some work in manufacturing as well, working with, especially with our current manufacturers on opportunities for expansion too. The cultural space, we're going to continue to drive that bus. As Margot can tell you, I mean, we continue to work really hard to support our major cultural institutions like this one. The building across the street is going to be fantastic, and we're proud to have invested ARPA dollars in it. Same thing with the Z, same thing with the Art Museum, but it's also all the working artists across the city who are doing fantastic stuff, and the support for the redevelopment of the Star Store, all these things. So that's something that we think will continue to help New Bedford thrive. And then, you know, the real big one for New Bedford is, you know, we're a seaport. So the work of Gordon Carr, Jen Downing, so many others, to really accentuate what we do there. It starts with fishing, of course, but offshore wind, we've established ourselves. The industry's taken a pause, but it will come back, and we will be, frankly, in the pole position nationally among ports once it does come back. And then, you know, aquaculture, of course, but also a real emphasis on marine tech. You know, Mark Parsons is here and doing fabulous stuff at New Bedford Research and Robotics, another institution that we've invested in, but we're doing a lot of work to ensure that we can be the best place in America to test and deploy new marine technologies in an era where there's a lot of money going into that area, especially for technology that has military applications. There's some good opportunities for New Bedford. So it's a long way of saying, I lay all this stuff out for you because, you know, you guys are engrossed in the work of economic development and own businesses or otherwise are thinking about this stuff. So so it should be said about New Bedford is that we know where we want to go. And we got a lot of people who are working together precisely in that direction. And so there's a lot of work ahead, but it's all very valuable work. And the way to motivate ourselves to continue going is to take stock of how far we've come. And we've come a long way in the last decade or so. And we're very proud of those things. And it should give us confidence that we can continue to drive it. So I want to thank everybody for all of your commitment to that effort. It is certainly worth our while. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Tony Sapienza, and I chair the board of the New Bedford Economic Development Council. Big ideas require big plans and strategies, and the city has that base covered for the years ahead. You can count on everyone in this room to get it done. We are all partners here. And to that end, it's really no secret that for the NBEDC to make meaningful progress on sustainable and equitable economic development across our city, we must be a credible partner with everyone that we work with. We need to trust each other. We need to have confidence in each other's skills, and we need to share a common vision. It goes without saying that the city is our lead partner in this work, and strong and open relationships with Mayor Mitchell, the City Council, and everyone at City Hall are absolutely essential for any success. And the strategic planning that the mayor has just highlighted is a perfect example of these partnerships. These personal relationships are the cornerstone of our effectiveness with private sector businesses, developers, and investors who recognize that what we have here in New Bedford, and they all want to be a part of it. So again, thank you, Mayor, for the kind words and continued dedication and support. On behalf of the entire board, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that the elected officials who are here, the most important one being Mayor Mitchell. Thank you for being here today. I also want to thank John Silver for his remarks and welcome him as the successor to my dear friend Pat Murray, who I am sure is on a golf course at this very moment. And he's using Titleist golf balls. I know because I gave them to him. We are fortunate that the entire team at Bristol County Savings are thoughtful community leaders who have always demonstrated through action what it means to be a good partner and understand the important role that banks play in our city and in the region. We thank everyone at the bank for their continued support of the EDC mission. And with that, I will now officially call the 2025 annual meeting of the New Bedford Economic Development Council to order. And with that, at this time, I would like to ask Carol Pimentel, my longtime friend, fellow board member, to deliver the clerk's report. Ms. Pimentel, if you please.
Thank you, Tony. For our first order of official business, we have the approval of the minutes of the previous annual meeting, October 29, 2024. The minutes of the 2024 annual meeting have been distributed to the members. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the previous annual meeting held October 29, 2024? Do I hear a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Did I say that already? Aye. Oh, we did this. All right, I will now hand it over to my longtime friend and famous hometown brewer, David Sloops, the president of the Treasurer's Board. I don't know what I did.
Thanks, Carol. I don't brew, I just drop off kegs, but I do my best. I was driving here a while ago and remembered when I first did this meeting, I didn't even need these. Now I'm at 2.5, so here we go. And unlike Derek, I do need these. So a couple things to start with. If you want the best job in the world that doesn't pay a dime, this is a great job, because being treasurer, when Deb was our controller and CFO for all those years, it's pretty simple work, actually. And our new gentleman will do the same thing. So it's been a great run. Let's just give Deb a quick round of applause and thank her. I don't know how many years it's been. I think you were, it's what, a decade? 17 blissful years together. And Phil, you've had her for how long? 42 blissful years. Congratulations. So it's been a great run. But it's seriously, even the audit this year, you can see the books are clean, they're boring, just like you like your good accountant, clean and boring. So it's been nothing but a pleasure working with you, Deb. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. So the fiscal year, I'm supposed to read now. For you guys that know me, reading is not fundamental for me. I like to go off the cuff, but I have to read this, so bear with me. So please, yeah, okay. Fiscal year 2025, we continued our efforts and programs to assist every kind of business throughout the city. As we wind down programs funded by the city ARPA funds, we were able to fund another 33 grants totaling $478,000 to help the city's business and creative enterprise grow past the inflationary backlash of the pandemic. This year, we concluded the work of the SBA Technical Assistance Fund for $58,000, and we have been approved to continue this vital work for fiscal 26, which will allow us to continue our work with one-on-one assistance, which is critical, and it's also very strategic with the one-on-one coaching sessions with the folks that can use our help the most. Additionally, MGCC, which is now part of Mass Development, I'm on the board up there as well, threw in $89,000 to help us, because we have a lot of, obviously, outside folks to help us out. But Bristol County is grant funding, Margot's folks, it all adds up to one big happy family, happy pie. So example of this work with the MGCC was the partnership with the Mass Small Business Development Center, who helped work with a successful series of no-cost workshops to small New Bedford businesses. Much more detail of this is in the annual report, which I'm not going to read. In addition to our support grants, our lending program awarded 10 business loans totaling $205,000. Our total portfolio is at $3.3 million right now. We focused on holding the line on bad debt and cash loan loss reserve, which resulted in a one-year allowance of $355,000. Our loan loss reserve was so robust, the auditors made us actually pare it back, because the folks do such a great job still helping people but keeping the loan portfolio spot on. Right now, we're at 15% of the portfolio is in the actual loan loss reserve. Again, an enviable position. Hard work and due diligence, bird dogging loans, working with people when we have to. We figure things out on a regular basis. The fiscal year also We continue our nation-leading programs in arts and culture. Thank you, Margot. She's been a great to have on the team. She classed the place up. I think this is probably your idea, Margot. It was a nice touch, don't you guys think? I think it was great. So, targeted placement efforts with grants and other support totaling $443,000. It's amazing. The work was made possible in large part by the city's commitment to arts, culture, and tourism, and the Barr Foundation, New England Foundation of the Arts, Community Foundation, Mass Cultural Council, Mass Development, the Schraff Foundation, all in savings of all in an additional $25,000 for our friends at Bristol County Savings. Thank you, John. And you are handsome, by the way. The statement of financial position activities are detailed in the annual report. Again, I'm not going to read, but perhaps most importantly, the role as treasurer's report, our balance sheet remains strong with $6.9 million in assets supporting $1.9 in liabilities. We'd all like that balance sheet, I think. We can all agree about that. And $2.9 million in unrestricted net assets, which means we don't have to choose where those go. Specifically, they can go where it makes the most sense. Due to the large number and complexity of our grants, our additional audited financials are in progress, and that's a fact because I'm part of that process. It's unbelievable how much accounting that goes into that. End of the year, we'll have it done by the calendar year. However, if you'd like a copy, when they're available, or you have any questions, please see myself or Dan. Where's Dan? Dan, say hi. That's the new Deb? Doesn't even sound good. That's just Dan, our new controller, not the new Deb. But welcome, Dan. Thanks for being here. Wave your hand one more time, Dan. Dan's very modest. Dan's a great guy. We're glad to have him. See, Dan, our Director of Finance, also, I think I'm all done reading now. Here we go. And with that, do I hear a motion to approve the Treasury report, please? Do I hear a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Hear no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No? Okay, good. Thank you. The Treasury report has been approved. I will now ask Elizabeth Isherwood, my one-time landlord and best very good friend, to be President of Moore National Communications, who also does my websites. Thank you, Liz. And the Vice President of the EDC to complete the business portion of our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, everybody, for being here today. According to the bylaws, the council members shall be elected at the council membership by a majority of the existing council members at the annual meeting. Do I hear a nomination of the council membership as presented in our handouts? So moved. Do I hear a second? Second. Any additional nominations from the floor? Do I hear any discussion? And hearing none? What was that? Discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, I call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the council as presented has been elected. Congratulations to the new members. According to the bylaws, the nominating committee nominates Anthony Sapienza to a 3-year term representing private industry to expire in 2028. You all know Tony, and surprisingly, as Derek said, he's not getting an award tonight. Do I hear a motion to elect Tony Sapienza to a 3-year term ending in 2028? So moved. Second? Second. Any additional nominations from the floor? Any discussion? No sneezes? Okay. Then I call the vote to re-elect Tony Sapienza to the board. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great, thank you. Congratulations, Tony. The nominating committee has also nominated Helena De Silva Hughes, President and CEO of the most important organization around here lately with a really heavy load to carry, the Immigrants Assistance Center, to a 3-year term to the community to expire in 2028. Do I hear a motion to elect Helena? So moved. Do I hear a second to the motion? Second. Do I hear any additional nominations from the floor? Then I'll call the question. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great, congratulations, Helena. And now I'll continue to the election of officers. The nominating committee nominates the following slate of officers: President Anthony Sapienza, retired president of JA Apparel Corporation. Elizabeth Isherwood, president, Moore and Isherwood Communications. Treasurer, David Slutz, president and co-founder of Moby Dick Brewing Company and managing director of Potentia Manufacturing Group. Clerk, Carol Pimentel, director of Internal Audit and Administrative Services, University of Massachusetts, retired. Do I hear any additional nominations from the floor? May we have a motion to accept the officers? Is there a second? Any discussion? I know you guys all just want a drink and a snack. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries, so congratulations to everyone. That concludes the formal businessy part of the meeting, but now I'll call upon Tony to deliver his president's report.
Thank you all for electing me again to be the president of this great organization. We have all worked together this past year on so many projects and programs that it is often difficult to decide where to focus. Is it on our small business programs that continue to showcase not only great results, but inspiring business owners and entrepreneurs who have such passion for what they do? Or perhaps the real estate and development projects that are truly exciting with construction activity throughout the city and plans for new development advancing through the review and approval processes. Maybe the thoughtful policy work we do for future development and recruitment intended to build on our competitive advantages that drive investment and job growth, as the mayor pointed out with the comprehensive plan. Maybe the thoughtful policy work is that important, but of course, the answer for me as the NBEDC president is all of it. But the thread that often ties all this together is our work in arts and culture. This year's annual report, like our past reports, provides a compelling overview of our measurable progress made possible by our many collaborations. But this year, our work in arts and culture is of special note. The project that best tells that story is our work with the Arts and Business Council of Greater Boston, Mayor Mitchell and Paul Downey, on giving the Star Store a new life. This project has had it all in for all of us. Detailed planning and analysis, visioning and working through what seem like never-ending challenges, and of course, great partnerships. We only started this effort in FY25, but it's one of those projects that will tie together all work that we do at the EDC for years to come. Investing our energy here as a staff, a board, and council makes sense, and I can't wait to see what our council members can bring to the table as we look to the future of this icon of the downtown and region. It's a part of so many of the things that are happening in the downtown around arts and culture. As previously mentioned, the Whaling Museum right out that door is building. The Z, thank God, is going to reopen in January. How wonderful. The Art Museum is on a roll. Go see the new exhibit. It's excellent photography. So there are so many things, not to mention RJD and so many other cultural institutions that are so important to this city. As I look to what comes next, it's important for me to pause just for a moment and thank the Board of Directors for their work in crafting our ambitious agenda. We have a strong board with distinct perspectives, and it gives me great pleasure to volunteer alongside each of them. There are no shrinking violets here. As a board, we recognize that hard work, talent, and honest commitment that the staff and associated team members bring to the EDC. And again, reiterating what the mayor said, we have an amazing staff, and I want to thank them and applaud them for the hard work that they do. They are all reliable professionals. We all benefit from their inspired efforts. All of us have continued to hustle every day with Mayor Mitchell and our partners at City Hall and the Port Authority and at the Ocean Cluster. The rest assured, and you may rest assured, that this combined effort shows no signs of slowing down for the year ahead. With so much going on, it can be difficult work for sure, but with everyone at the NBEDC working closely with City Hall and all our many partners, we continue to make New Bedford a better city for everyone, citizens, visitors, and newcomers. One such newcomer to our great city is the Arts and Business Council of Greater Boston. The ANBC is a nonprofit that empowers artists and organizations with the tools and services they need to grow their practices, gain influence, seek justice, and thrive. This past May, ANBC and its Creative Land Trust Program acquired the Star Store in downtown New Bedford for the purpose of reimagining and reactivating the building as a public resource to benefit artists, makers, creators, and small creative businesses. We have entered into a memorandum of understanding with the ANBC in which we provide communications, consulting, advocacy, and strategic planning that supports a robust, collaborative public engagement process. ANBC will develop and operate the Star Store as a nationally recognized, publicly accessible asset that will serve as an economic engine for Greater New Bedford and elevate the city's national stature as a center for the arts and culture. Not a bad example of partners working together. ANBC has a great team in place, and many of you have met Jim Grace and Matt MacArthur over the summer and fall, but you likely have not met their incredibly talented chair, Bithia Israel, who is with us here today. Bithia is a multicultural artist, composer, educator, and video producer whose work centers on celebrating the strength of community connection. She is an alumna of Arts and Business Council's Creative Entrepreneur Fellowship Program and the founder of A City Strings United, a nonprofit with a mission to promote youth development in historically excluded communities through access to high-quality, student-centered music, education, and ensemble performances. At City Strings United, Bithia energetically fulfills leadership, operational teaching, and developmental responsibilities as the president and CEO and board member. Her work has been recognized by the Boston Globe, New England Cable News, and Chronicle, just to name a few. She is a recipient of the Women of Courage and Conviction Award, presented by the Boston chapter of the National Council of Negro Women, and the Dennis Wren Music Educator Advocacy Award, an honor given by Arts Learning as part of the statewide Champions of Arts Education Advocacy Awards. Now, before I ask her to come up to the podium, we have a special treat for everyone. A short piece entitled You Know, composed by Bithia, will be performed by musicians from the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra. Special thanks to Dave Prentice, to the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, and to those 5 outstanding musicians who performed for us today. But with that, the piece that they performed is by our keynote speaker today, Bethia Israel. Please welcome Bethia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you to the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra and Dave for making that happen, and also to the EDC for having me today. Thank you. All right, and just in case you were wondering, what is that about, that piece, You Know? It's kind of akin to the book Blink. Have anyone read that book, Blink, by Maxwell? There are just some things you kind of know, maybe without people telling you. It's just your inkling. And that theme is what you'll hear in my story. So as you heard, I am the president and founder of City Strings United, a youth development organization serving 100 kids in Greater Boston, opening up access to equitable, high-quality music education for youth in historically excluded communities. And just this year, our 13th season, we've had 14 performances featuring our students age 4 through 18. So we all have a story, and economic development is something that, of course, is seen on the skyline and in cities, but also at home with individual artists who are trying to make a difference in the world. So this is my story. So I founded City Strings United because I represent the children who we serve. I'm a child of the inner city, and even though we all don't have the same experiences, we do have something shared, which is kind of, when you're from the inner city, you are from an area that is maybe not considered maybe the most likely to succeed, depending on your socioeconomic background. So that is something that I share with a lot of our students at City Strings United. I came along in the 70s, the product of a Dominican Vietnam veteran, dad, and an American mom from Connecticut. Unfortunately, Dad left before I was 3, and between the ages of 3 and 6, I grew up mostly without any contact with either of my parents. Now, despite the turmoil that I experienced because of that loss of time with my family, music provided a way to express emotions that, as a child, I had no words for. For this reason, I consider music to be my first language. Now I compose music for community, film, and stage projects, and hope one day to create on a larger scale. Had challenges not arisen in my youth, City Strings United would not be what it is today. In elementary school, I was introduced to the cello through free programming, and teachers took note that I was really taking to the instrument. And for me, growing up in a very unpredictable environment, the cello and the tactile anchor that it was for me made sense. If you put your hand in a certain place and made a certain note, that note was predictable. Every time it was the same note, hopefully, once you practiced enough. And then your note harmonized with the notes around you when I grew up in youth symphonies. So this harmony and the expression of the emotion really provided a safe place for me to express about life and to also gain that cross-cultural communication that music is. Music is a language you can play with someone from any country of the world and sound great together, and so the humanity of it really was something that drew me. Kind, caring instructors like Glenn Campbell, who is a cellist from the San Diego Symphony and still currently advisor to City Strings United, taught me years for free of charge. As a young adult, I witnessed how being an accomplished musician opened avenues in society that were previously closed to me because of the socioeconomic realities of our family. So in 2012, I founded City Strings United, realizing that many youth in the inner city must experience similar challenges, especially when youth of color, of low socioeconomic status. And so my aim was to revive joy and hope and for youth to understand that they really can be whatever they want to be. And that's where the Arts and Business Council of Greater Boston comes into the story. So as a composer and founder of a nonprofit with a clear mission, I had lots of heart, as you could see in our, being in our 13th year now. We started with zero money, and we're approaching a $500,000 budget in 2025, 2026. Thank you. So I had lots of heart and determination, but I lacked the business knowledge necessary to bring the organization to another level. So business is competitive, and nonprofit organizations are businesses. And what I found through being a part of the Creative Entrepreneur Fellowship at the Arts and Business Council, artists run businesses too. Solopreneurs are still businesses. So through the programs of the Arts and Business Council, I really gained the experience, knowledge, networks, contacts, and support needed to really begin to succeed, even on a small level. It's still early. 13 years is not that old. But we were supported by the Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. That's a program through the NBEDC, which really matches you with attorneys to help you with contracts, real estate issues, and just the many issues that artists can come up against. And if you don't have the resources, it really can tank your, your efforts. So the VLA has really been a wonderful program that's helped probably at least 5 contracts or so. So thank you for that, VLA. Another organization, another program of the arts and business is Business on Board. And the board members of of City Strings United, you know, you can feel passionate about a mission and you can join a board with all the best intentions, but there are some really important fiscal issues and fiduciary and just oversight issues that you need to be aware of in order to properly guide a nonprofit. So Business on Board helped our board members do that by learning what's required to be a good board member. And every nonprofit needs a great board. I've benefited also from just the network that the Arts and Business Council has provided. So as you can imagine, all the attorneys, all of the events, all of the artistic focal events that are hosted by the Arts and Business Council just really gives visibility to the small individual artist. And visibility is something that every small artist needs. So in 2021, I joined the board of directors at the Arts and Business Council after seeing the commitment in action to support the arts community. And another program that the Arts and Business Council has, as you've heard a little bit about, is the Creative Campus Initiative, preserving safe, affordable spaces for the artistic community to thrive. Now, not only can the arts contribute to individual fulfillment and benefit for our communities, but arts are good for the economy. So are you ready for a couple of data points? According to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis and the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies, for-profit and nonprofit arts and culture sectors, the Massachusetts arts and culture sector was a $28.6 billion industry in 2022, 4.13% of the state's GDP, representing 133,773 jobs, which is 3.5% of Massachusetts' workforce, and total compensation of $15.6 billion. And for an example of the impact on a city, for the city of Springfield, the nonprofit arts and culture sector has generated $82.4 million in economic activity annually and supported over 1,480 jobs. So I'm excited to see how the partnership between the Arts and Business Council of Boston and the New Bedford Economic Development Council brings about some really amazing developments at the Star Store. And I recently attended one of the Star Store community engagement town hall meetings held at the library. And a special shout out to Margot and Matt. For thoughtfully holding space, listening to community advice, and hopes for a significant building in the city, such as the Star Store. I'm happy to have participated in the process. Focusing on different art disciplines really brought great engagement. So congratulations on that effort. I look forward to what lies ahead for this collaboration within the context of New Bedford's rich history and vibrant arts community. And I thank you for the recognition of the contributions of artists in our communities. Thank you.
So I'd like everyone to just stand and give us another round of applause for the musicians and for Bethia. So just a couple of, well, first of all, thank you, Bristol County Savings Bank and the mayor for being here today. Thanks to the Whaling Museum for hosting us, for being such great hosts. And then, I really do think that it's important to reflect a little bit about what we've been about here today. It's one thing to be thinking about economic development in terms of golf balls and men's suits and golf apparel and fish and scallops and, turbines. I mean, those are really, really important things, and we all know that those industries, drive a lot of development here in the city. But how that relates and brings people to this city and how we enhance the lives of people in this city with arts and culture is absolutely extraordinary. And there have been no prouder moments, it seems to me, for this city than when we initiated the arts and culture funds that city government invests in artists, how we've used ARPA dollars and other grants, how the Bar Foundation has contributed as well, and how the improvement in the quality of life and the interrelationship between businesses and economic development and education are just a hallmark of what we have done for the last 10 years and what we obviously are going to be doing for the next 10. Thank you all for doing that. I want to remind all of the council members that in the next few weeks, the staff will be reaching out to you again, as we always do, to set the stage for our work for the coming year in 2026. As always, your input, guidance, and experience are valued, needed, and greatly appreciated. Thank you all for coming today. I want you to stay, please, and join us for a reception afterwards. And we can start the weekend half a day early by enjoying that reception, okay? And of course, want anyone can think about the fine dining opportunities that exist in the city after the short reception that we're going to have. So with that, I'm going to ask, is there any old business to bring before the council? There being none. Is there any new business to bring before the council? There being none, I hereby declare the 2025 annual meeting of the New Bedford Economic Development Council adjourned. Thank you all for attending.